everyone, my name is Luyện. I am from Vietnam and I live in Ho Chi Minh City. I am 11 years old and today I am going to tell you about my favorite character. So my favorite character is in the story. It's called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I like Snow White the best because Snow White is a girl who so Snow White is a kind girl with beauty. She's beautiful and kind and like honest, helping people like that. But I don't like the wicked witch. I don't like the evil queen. Why? Well, because of the evil queen who had poisoned Snow White with a poisonous apple that made Snow White sleep. But luckily, a handsome prince came to rescue her. That was a lovely story. Oh, and would you like me to tell you about that story? Well, this is a story about a king and queen. A queen who had longed for a child of her own. As she looked outside the window on a winter day, she was knitting and making the clothes. And when she looked out, she saw many children playing in the snow. She also saw their smile and laughter, and she longed for a child that winter day. And she said, "Oh, how I wish I would have a baby girl who had white skin, just like the wind, just like the snow, had red lips like roses." And soon, when it was springtime, the queen's wishes had come true. But when her baby was born, she passed away. That led the king to take care of Snow White. He loved Snow White dearly, and Snow White longed for a mother. So the king decided to marry a woman. But once he saw this beautiful woman on the day of his trip, he decided to marry her. But one thing that he didn't know about the woman is that she was a witch, a dark, evil witch. And when Snow White got to meet her new mother, she was very silent, kind in nature, and then she decided to talk to her mother. But once after the marriage, her stepmother, the evil queen, keeps staying at her own room and never come out to play with Snow White. Sometimes Snow White brings a toy to ask her to play with her, but the evil queen just look at her in anger. But everyone in the palace, especially Snow White, don't even know what the queen is doing in her room. Everyone always had a question. Why is the queen always in her room? Why does she only come out when she needs to sit on the throne? And why does she like to play with Snow White? The evil queen had a magic mirror, and every day the evil queen said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of them all?" And the magic mirror always answered, "My queen, you're the fairest and the beautiest in the kingdom." The queen was very delighted to hear about that. But when Snow White just turned 15, like she's towards a parent now, my parents, she was so beautiful that one day when the witch came to her mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest and prettiest of them all?" But the answer of the mirror wasn't the same as always. "Dear my queen, you used to be the most fairest and prettiest of them all. But now Snow White is the prettiest and fairest of them all. The queen was very angry when she heard that. She decided to do something to make herself the beautifulest and the fairest of them all again. And so she sent for the best hunter in the village to hunt down Snow White. And the hunter tricked Snow White into the forest with him. Then suddenly he took out his knife, but as he walked closer, he saw that Snow White was sitting there and helping a little bird. The hunter thought, "No, I cannot kill this girl. I must tell her about her greedy mother, and I will have to kill an animal." So he went, and so he tells Snow White about the story that her mother told the hunter to do. And the little princess was very surprised, and she said, "Oh no, but now I cannot return to the kingdom." The hunter said, "Well, why don't you run into the forest? The forest is dark, and the queen don't like going there." So the princess took the advice and run as far as she can. And the hunter killed a deer and bring the deer heart, just pretending just like Snow White heart. And the queen's happiness grew and grew. Then after the week, on a Monday next week, the evil queen walked to the mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest and prettiest of them all now?" But the mirror answered just like it. "Dear my queen, the fairest and the prettiest used to belong to you, but now Snow White is the prettiest and the fairest of them all." The evil queen was angry, so the hunter tricked her. She thought she was gonna decide what to do to the little princess later. Do you know that the magic mirror also show a picture that now Snow White is in the forest with the 7 dwarfs. Yes, the princess run and run. She got hurt and bruises, but luckily some bird flew and helped her to this, and they lead her to a cottage, to a small cottage that had the smallest door Snow White had ever seen. That door was the house was actually for the 7 dwarfs who work in the mine. And okay, let's just skip that part and wait. Oh yes, and then the 7 dwarfs one day on that day, the 7 dwarfs were walking and marching, and they sing happy and merry song. When they came back home, they gasped, "Oh no, who ate my porridge? Oh look, the fire lit up." But then they thought, "Oh, someone must have going to our house. Let's go check if they are still there." So they walked upstairs. They peeked into their bedroom and saw the three of the bed in the 7 drawer bedroom was connected together, and there was someone sleeping in the 7 drawer bed. The leader of the 7 drawers came forward and asked, "Hello, who's in there?" And once Snow White wake up and she gasped, "Oh no, who are you?" And the 7 drawers said, "We are the owners of this house. What are you doing here?" Then Snow White told the story of her wicked mother, and the 7 dwarfs decided to let her stay at the house. And so Snow White promised that she will cook for them, clean their shoes, and do every chores around this house while they away. And on the next morning, the 7 dwarfs came to the cave again. But before they go, the leader said, "Please, Snow White, don't remember about your wicked mother. Don't let anyone in, don't buy anything from them, and don't let them eat anything. Okay?" And so I said, "Okay." And so, but Snow White forgot the 7 dwarf word as she saw this young this old lady. The old lady was very poor and old. She was selling apples, but actually it was the wicked witch in the sky. That's the wicked witch put some magic poisonous potion into every of the apple. And then she knocked on the door. Hello, is anyone home? Please buy one of my delicious apples, please. And Snow White thought that she was so poor, but then she opened the window and said, I would love to buy some. I cannot open the door for you to go in. And I cannot buy anything from you. The wicked witch, the wicked queen said, oh, you let me in. I am so poor and innocent. I am just a poor old lady who's just selling this normal apple. Please let me in. Since Snow White was a kind girl, she was being touched by the old lady word. So, forgetting about the draw warning, she let her in, and then she gave the woman some stew. The old lady said, oh, thank you, darling. And here's a treat. You don't need to pay me or anything. Snow White thank you and eat it and eat it. And suddenly she fall asleep for a long time. And the wicked witch returned back to herself and laughed. So you have got my trick. Then she flew, then she turned into a bat and she fly away back to the kingdom. But thankfully, the dwarves came back home that early and they saw that Snow White had been tricked by the evil witch. So they decided to put her into this coffin. Not the usual coffin that vampire asleep, but actually a beautiful coffin that had a glass over it. Then they decorate the coffin with beautiful flower that will let everyone know about Snow White. And that day, the next morning, the dwarf was very sad and sad. They cry and cry, especially weepy Teary. Teary is a dwarf who always cry and cry. He cried the most of all. But luckily, there was a prince from the neighboring kingdom, and he was walking by, and he was riding by with his horse, and he saw a beautiful young lady in a coffin asleep, and he saw the 7 dwarfs crying and crying. So he jumped off his horse and walked to them and asked, can I have this beautiful lady? I promise I will take good care of her. And so the dwarves gave Snow White to the prince. And luckily, the prince kissed Snow White, and Snow White opened up her eyes and wait, is the spell broken yet? And the prince smiled. Yes, it has. You have been poisoned by the evil queen. Snow White returned. So Snow White and the 7 dwarfs, along with the prince from the neighboring kingdom, went back to the palace and demanded the king to arrest the evil queen. But the evil queen was trapped now. She was being trapped alone, not with her magic mirror, but she was imprisoned alone. And the magic mirror was kept in the evil queen's bedroom, and that is how the prince and Snow White also decided to marry. And the king was happy, and he said, yes, you may marry my daughter. And so the prince and Snow White, the princess, lived happily ever after. So you see, this story is so sad, but it was so sad in the middle, right? Because Snow White fell in the evil queen magic. But it was happy at the ending that the prince and the princess married with each other. Well, can I ask you a few questions now? So, since you have heard about my story, you'll see why I like Snow White and why I hate the evil queen and why I also like the prince and the seven dwarfs. Oh yes, the seven dwarfs, they have different type of personal. Like each drawers are for each personal of people stuff like crying, angry, happy, and the leader was just a normal person, like a normal people who had many feelings. So now can I ask you the question now? What is your favorite story? Who was your favorite character in that story? And why do you like that person? Which character you don't like in the story? Tell me why you don't like that character? And what about the rest character? Are they save the day or didn't save the day? Or are they also the helper of the evil person? Please let me know. Well, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Goodbye.